The Abu Dhabi car testing after the season is happening right now, and we're seeing some race car drivers doing really well with their new teams, but some big stars are missing and others are. It's sad that they weren't allowed to test with their new teams. I think you already know who I'm talking about. What should we expect from the drivers and their new teams and more? Importantly, will this test show us what will happen with certain drivers in the future and with Red Bull and Racing Bulls getting all the attention? It's safe to say that we're going to see lots of changes in 2025, with drivers getting used to their new homes, but some of them figured things out much better than others, like Carlos Sainz in his first try on the track. In Marina, the Spanish driver was the fastest with a time of 1 minute 24.401 seconds driving the 2024 Williams car. This is pretty amazing when you think about it, because he beat drivers like Leclerc, who drove 72 laps with the Ferrari car, and also beat Norris, who drove 78 laps with a McLaren car. Of course, we shouldn't get too excited about these results because it's just testing after the season, and we don't know what car settings and tires the teams are trying with their drivers, but seeing Sainz put up these numbers is pretty good, and it shows that his future with Williams might be better than what we're thinking. On the other hand, we have to talk about the money side of things, and Santander coming will definitely help the Williams team have more money for improvements, not just for the 2025 season, but for the new rules as well. The tire testing will put lots of pressure on Albon too, who will see how his new teammate will handle the car and how it will work out once the season starts in March. Obviously, Albon felt quite a bit of pressure from Colapinto, who had zero Formula One experience, and having a driver who won 4 races as your teammate will definitely push you to get the very best out of yourself in the car too. But anyway, there are drivers who are sad that they're not getting to be part of the Formula One tire testing, because it would have let them understand their new car much better. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you probably knew that we were talking about Hamilton, as the 7-time world champion has finally said that not being able to drive the Ferrari car in Abu Dhabi is going to hurt him more than we can imagine, because it's cutting short the time where he can get used to the Ferrari car and be as good as possible when the 2025 season starts. Right now, he already has a huge challenge in going against Leclerc, the first man he needs to beat if he wants to win his 8th record-breaking championship. And when talking about being denied the after-season test by Mercedes, Hamilton said, "I know Vassar wanted it to happen for me. I wasn't sure about driving the red car for the first time in Abu Dhabi. It doesn't excite me. In the perfect world, you'd get to drive it and not be seen and do the first practice next year." When we brought it up with Toto, they had all these plans that I've got to go and see some of the sponsors and say goodbye. I don't think I was ever going to be allowed, even if I had asked for it, but I have a contract with the team until December 30th, and that's totally fine. It doesn't bother me because I wasn't going to do the test. I told Fred that's not what I want to do. Am I missing out on something? For sure. It definitely makes things take longer and makes the start of the year harder, but we'll do our best to get better from it. And to make things even worse, the first testing that Hamilton will have with Ferrari will be with the older version of the newly ruled era, the F175, which was the 2022 car that was very good in the first couple of races before the upgrades ruined everything for the team led by Binotto. Of course, that could mean nothing, because in such a strictly ruled era not much has changed in terms of technical knowledge of the cars, and there's small differences that are making the difference. So Vassar is confident that Hamilton needs 0 to no time to get used to the Ferrari team. Of course, that is now all in the past, but when you look at Mercedes, they weren't able to use Antonelli in the first time in the after-season test either. The Italian super kid is still getting better from being sick, and it's obvious that he will struggle a bit to understand how to deliver top performance while being with Mercedes, as he will have a strong driver, as his teammate Russell Antonelli is one of the many new drivers from 2025 onwards. And missing out on these tests is really important, because his Formula One experience, while it exists, is very small, and quite honestly, we do remember how the Monza testing went for him. Even though he was praised for pushing the car to the very limit, Antonelli is being replaced because of the sickness that the Italian is still getting better from by the backup driver of Mercedes who won the Formula 2 championship last year, Frederic Vesti, and he's one of the many drivers like Porsche and Drugovich who are waiting for situations like this to prove how good they are, even though there are 0 to no chances that these drivers will find a seat somewhere between 2025 and 2026. We must not forget that all of this bunch of new drivers could turn out well for the testing drivers in 2024 in Abu Dhabi, because if someone turns out to do badly, they might be the first ones to get a call and step into their position to prove that they have what it takes to lead the team in the right direction. Anyway, there will be lots of eyes watching the Red Bull situation as well, because with Perez's future hanging in the air, all of the eyes are set on Sun and Lawson, as both of them are testing right now with Red Bull and Racing Bulls, each to add more to this drama. Red Bull has put what many believe would be the replacement of one of these drivers if they were moved up to Red Bull, Isaac Had, right next to the Japanese driver for the first day in Abu Dhabi. After season testing, this shows that the Austrian team is looking towards changing their lineup and getting back to their roots of promoting from within their circles, and not only that, but also put drivers with talent instead of ones who haven't won a race in the whole year while their teammate won the championship. Sonata has gotten what he's been asking for so long, and quite frankly, even though many think it's a bit too late, the general belief is that this is done out of routine because the Austrian team already knows that Lawson will be the replacement of Perez since he comes from the ranks of their academy, unlike Tsunoda, who came as part of the agreement with Honda. But if the times of Tsunoda are really good, similar to what Ricciardo did back in Silverstone to prove that he still has it to drive a Formula One car, Red Bull would be dumb to ignore this situation and keep him in the sister team yet again, because he did beat Lawson in qualifying in every race they've been teammates for. Red Bull will hold a meeting about Perez's future, and from all the latest statements coming from different experts and sources, it looks like the Mexican driver understood that his job is in danger finally, and now he's set to be replaced by someone younger and closer to Verstappen. The only good thing that Red Bull will have by finishing third in the Constructors' Championship is the extra wind tunnel, with time that they really need to fix the main problem of their car. But even with that, the 2025 championship is anything but guaranteed, with teams like McLaren and Ferrari being really close and a bit better than the Austrian team. But this is not all. We must not forget the battle of the middle teams and the potential some of the teams have to break through the 6th position and maybe fight in the top 5 as well. Haas and Sauber have brand new lineups, and Ocon has already started to test with the American team, while the duo of Hülkenberg and Bortoleto will have huge pressure to prove that the upward trend of the Swiss team that is about to turn to Audi from 2026 onwards can result in them scoring points regularly. If we look at the situation in Haas in 2024, Hülkenberg was the driver who kept the team in the fight for 6th place for most of the season, and had it not been for the amazing podium finishes of Ocon and Gasly in Brazil, they would have likely finished 6th. But Hülkenberg has what it takes to put the car in the regular point-scoring spots. But Sauber being Sauber, we know that the team needs to change a lot in order to give good solutions to their drivers and their cars. As for Haas, it will be interesting to see whether Ocon was the problem in Alpine, as he goes against one of the many new drivers as his teammate Behrman, who became the first driver in Formula One history to score points with 2 different teams in the same season. The potential is high, but Sauber and Haas make a statement on their own with the rebuilding that has been going on for quite some time in their teams. With all of this in mind, what do you think about the 2024 tire test in Abu Dhabi, and who do you think will benefit the most considering what's at stake? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're interested in Hamilton's shocking message before his Ferrari debut, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.